even by your own metrics, that doesn't work.
What's good, you guys, and welcome on another episode. How are you guys doing? I hope you all are doing great. And if you are joining for the very first time, thank you so much for being here today. Yesterday, we talked about few moments during the Grammy Award night that literally went viral and people were talking about it. In today's video, we are going to be talking about, if not the most talked about moment during the Grammy Award, it was the speech that Jayz gave and how Beyonce had more award than any other person in the room, but still she has never won album of the year, and by all calculations it doesn't seem right. He said there are some people who will be robbed and there are some people who do not deserve to be in some categories as well. Some people find the speech disrespectful. Some people said he said what needed to be said best, and he's right for literally standing up for his woman, and not just for his woman, to literally tell them that by all calculations they are wrong. And this sparked a very interesting conversation. People are coming in from different angles, different opinion, and I have put together the moment and as well the things that people are saying about Jayz's speech during the award night.
Right. And obviously it's subjective. Y'all don't gotta clap at everything. Obviously it's subjective because, you know, it's music and it's opinion based. But, you know, some things, you know, I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than everyone and never won Album of the Year. So even by your own metrics, that doesn't work. Think about that. The most Grammys, never won Album of the Year. That doesn't work. You know, some of you gonna go home tonight and feel like you've been robbed. Some of you may get robbed. Some of you don't belong in the category. No, when I get nervous, I tell the truth.
I'm not at nobody Grammys yet, but there are two things that took place tonight that I just want to thank God that we got to witness and experience. First thing, Jay-Z, Sean Corby Carter, got on that stage to receive his award, but he just could not help himself but to defend his wife against that program, against that industry, to say she has more Grammys than anybody else in this room, yet she's never won Album of the Year. My boy said, by your metrics, Grammys, that's not even right. Black women are rarely defended, especially within that industry and especially within big spaces like that. And the second thing I want to thank God for is we got to see a seed that Victoria Monet planted 15 years ago finally sprout. She makes me so proud to be a fan. I'm so inspired by that young lady, and I love her, and I'm grateful for her.
You know, I'm just waiting for all of us to collectively realize that the Grammys have always been fucked up and just stop participating in the shit. I knew that the Grammys were fucked up like early 2000s, like 2003. But it wasn't until I got older and actually like paid attention to shit, like in my early 20s, where I was like, oh, this is really fucked up. The year was 2008, and Amy Winehouse sweeped the Grammys that year. Like, she was a shoo-in. We all knew that bitch was taking home Album of the Year. We all knew it. She won the most Grammys out of anyone that night and lost Album of the Year to fucking Herbie Hancock. Herbie Hancock had a contemporary jazz album that year and beat Back to Black? How? Like Hove said, by your own metrics, that doesn't work. How the fuck does someone go home with the most Grammys of the night and lose the biggest award of the night? It never made sense. Taylor Swift has 4 Album of the Year Grammys, but she loses to motherfuckers in categories where she should be nominated. It makes no sense. Record labels, music execs are on their knees doing something unholy to get these awards to these artists that don't deserve none of them. Mariah Carey doesn't even have an Album of the Year. Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, Prince. Celine Dion has 1 Album of the Year, 1. And you know what? Not for nothing. That's the whole reason why she snubbed Celine when she took her Grammy. The bitch got 4 of them. She's used to the shit. She got 4 album of the years, and this icon has 1. Let me know when we're over the Grammys. Let me know collectively when we're like, so. I'm glad that Victoria Monet is getting her flowers after being snubbed by fucking MTV. But the disrespect of our artists, it just, there are no levels, there are no bounds to the level of disrespect in this industry for them. I hate it here.
Can we talk about this moment at the Grammys and how I feel like people are not understanding the nuances attached to Jay-Z's speech? First of all, his speech honestly had nothing to do with Beyonce if you actually follow the thread of what he was talking about. Firstly, he started by giving props to Dr. Dre and respect for everything that they have done, especially for hip-hop culture. Then he moved on to talk about Will Smith and how when he was nominated for his first Grammy, their category was not televised, so they decided to boycott the Grammys. Then he moved on to his personal experience with the Grammys, how when he was nominated in that same year, DMX dropped 2 hip-hop albums that went number 1, both in the same year, and he got 0 nominations, so he decided to boycott the Grammys. Then he went on to speak about Beyonce, who has the most, I think she's like the most awarded person at the Grammys. She has like 38 Grammys, but she has never won Album of the Year. For me, what he's trying to highlight is the cultural impact that Black artists always have in music, and every single time not being recognized for their cultural impact. I hope this doesn't come up to be disrespectful, but I think that when it comes to music, talent, and performance, Black artists have always been the standard. They always have been. Black artists are the trendsetters. Nothing moves without Black culture. Black culture is what popular culture is all about. So I think he was trying to get the Grammys to understand that they need to pay attention to what's happening. They need to pay attention to the cultural impact that Black artists always have. Lauryn Hill was the first Black female artist to win Album of the Year in 1999. So basically, the Grammys are telling us that no Black woman since 1999 has dropped an album that is worthy to be called Album of the Year. Are you serious? Beyonce, Solange, even SZA, Janelle Monáe. So many Black females have dropped incredible, critically acclaimed body of work for years since 1999, and it's like, they need to pay attention to what's happening. And that's what he kept on saying. We love you guys, but you need to pay attention. So I think that's the nuance of the conversation that people are not paying attention to. To be honest, it really wasn't about Beyonce. It's about Black artists not receiving the accolades they deserve at the highest level. So it's not about giving them Rap Album of the Year or R&B Album of the Year just because they are Black and they fit into this category. Then what about the highest form of the award show, which is the Album of the Year award? That's the point. Even like Song of the Year, I believe that no Black artist had won that for a long time until like Lizzo won that last year or 2 years ago. So that's the point of the conversation. Is like, just don't throw these Grammys at us. Just don't give Beyonce 38 Grammys just for the heck of it. But then the main one, the one that has like the biggest weight, no Black artist has won that award since 1999. No Black female has won that since 1999. That's the point he's trying to make.
So Jay-Z gave an acceptance speech last night, and he made some pretty good points. But one of the comments that I'm currently seeing in the discourse is that Jay-Z pulled a Kanye West moment. And I'm usually seeing this comment by a certain demographic of people because they lived a life where they didn't need to develop critical thinking skills. So right now, I'm just going to give you 2 reasons why that isn't the serve that you think it is. The first one being is that this was said during his own award. Like, you know, he won an award. He gave an acceptance speech for it, and that's what he decided to say. He did not run up on someone else's stage during someone else's moment and use that moment to make a point. No, Jay-Z didn't do this. He used his own moment to make the point that he wanted. Okay, here's number 2 of why that isn't the serve that you think it is. Yeah, what Kanye did was rude. However, the message is still valid. It still stands. You have these white institutions purposely snubbing artists through arbitrary metrics. That's still a problem. And I feel like I have to say this because I know how you guys love to deflect and twist things. This is no shade to Taylor Swift. Actually, this has nothing to do with Taylor Swift. So all I want is those comments of like this being a Kanye West moment to stop so we can have actual discourse about what's being said.
It's bigger than Beyonce, and I know that's going to be hard for some of y'all to hear, but please come with me on this journey. The Carters are worth what? A couple billion combined. Anyone with average sense would probably agree that, fan of hers or not, she has changed the music industry forever, and not just in terms of performance value, but also in terms of go-to-market and launch strategies. If you were paying close attention, you would have picked up on what Mr. Carter was putting down, which was the real reason why he started protesting the Grammys back in the 90s. He specifically said that he himself was nominated that year. However, DMX, may he rest in peace, was not, and DMX had put out 2 #1 albums that year, and Jay-Z felt like it was wrong for him to not be nominated. What that tells us is that this is not, nor has it ever been, about personal gain for him. He said what he said to use his wife in the Grammys as something that most people can relate to. If someone is exceptional or outstanding by all quantifiable industry metrics and being worthy of being celebrated by the Academy's own metrics, then how is it possible that that person is not also worthy of the highest honor? And I know some people felt like that was not the time or the place, but he had to say it on a stage that large with over 16 million people watching. Because if the goalpost can get moved on the Carters with all of their wealth and influence, then what do you think is happening to everyone else who is operating in structures and systems that were, let's just say, designed for people who don't look like us? So yes, technically this was about Beyonce, but it was meant to be symbolic of what many of us experience in terms of being in a league of our own based on whatever our craft is, and still being told it's not your year, it's not your time, the promotion's not yours, you're not ready for that board seat, followed by whatever reason they can come up with other than merit. Because in some instances it's a meritocracy up until we're the ones with the merit. That was the point of the speech. If it can happen to them, then Lord help the rest of us.
The way Jay-Z cleared that room out in under 10 minutes was impeccable. Let this be a lesson to stop playing with people. And I have been hearing a resounding, didn't Kanye say this? Yes, he did. He did say it. But it needed to be said again. And it needs to be said again. He was absolutely right. He was absolutely right. And I'm going to be honest with you. I would have left up out of there too after I said what I needed to say. Why does he need to stay? Why do they need to sit around? They were there to get the award. They came, they saw, and they left. Stop playing with people. Jay-Z is a 50-plus-year-old man that has made his mark in the music industry. His wife, whom I love, has done countless things. And he was right. Some of the people who were nominated were not supposed to be on there. He didn't lie. And I'm here for it.
We love y'all. We love y'all. We want y'all to get it right. At least get it close to right. And
you know what? We keep asking them to get it right. Why? Why do we keep expecting them to get it right? How long has it been and it's still not right? And I listened to his speech, and it's not that I disagree with what he said. Now, I understand he repping for his wife. I get that. Totally respect that. I'm not a Jay-Z fan. I'm not a Beyonce fan. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. I can't name you one Taylor Swift song. But you cannot say, when are we going to get it right? When they gonna get it right? When are they gonna get it right? They're not. They're not. For something like that to change, you talk about, some people in the wrong category, people getting robbed. There's enough of you with influence and resources to create something to where you feel it is right. There's enough of you in the position to create something that is right by your standard, to where you recognize the people who should be recognized, to where you can put people in categories to where they should be, and they do get their true accolades. But to stand on that platform and ask, when are they going to get it right? Are you serious? And that's our problem. Because we keep wanting to change their rules. We keep wanting to change their game. And then we get upset when it doesn't go our way. But yet, no one wants to create something to where it's fair and balanced, even though there are people who have the resources to do it, the influence to do it. Basically, they're telling you, you can perform, you can entertain us, you can make money for us, but we'll determine your value. And you just accept that. You just deal with that, and you just live with that. And that's what's going on. It even goes back to Taraji P. Henson's thing. And multiple people have said it. Now, I love Taraji P. Henson. She's one of my favorite actresses. But we can't keep asking and expecting anything different than what they have already determined, that this is the rules, this is the game you're in, this is how you're going to play it. We'll tell you what you value. We'll tell you what you're worth. We'll recognize you to the point where we feel you need to be recognized. But just understand that you will never be recognized above this. Apparently, they have not figured that out. They have not. Even if they created their own small award ceremony, and don't name it anything, just come up with your own thing. It ain't got to be nothing dealing with culture. It just needs to be something. Real World Artist Awards. Come up with some name. You can find some marketing team that can give you a name that represents true artists in the right categories. But for you to stand up there and say, when you gonna get it right? When have they ever gotten it right? Come on.
Baby, did you hear Jay-Z's speech? Listen. Did he tell one line? He told not one. That man said, first of all, how you have the artist, speaking about his wife, how you have an artist that got the most Grammys ever, but she ain't ever won Album of the Year? Do better. He also said some of y'all don't even deserve to be nominated. Ice Spice. But you know what I'm saying? That's the only person I can think of who was nominated. I was like, why is she even here? Because I don't get it. I don't get the hype. It could be, I'm 37. I'm not the target audience. But his speech was everything, because he was basically saying, Grammys, y'all need to do better. Appreciate where you came from, but do better. And also, he's telling people in general, just because someone is telling you no does not mean that you stop. You keep going, you keep showing up, because eventually they gonna want you. And if you look at the Grammys today versus what it was back in 89, you know what I'm saying? Like, black people are all over there because you cannot deny us. You cannot keep us out of it, especially when it comes down to like anything creative, the arts. We gonna dominate. Just let us be.
What do you guys think about the Jayz's speech? What do you think about what the people are saying as well. People are saying, oh, it's the Kanye moment, Jayz put the Kanye moment on them, but he's actually saying the truth. Yes, he's not the very first person to say something like that. Kanye has mentioned something like that as well. But did anything change even after Kanye mentioned that? Is anything even ever going to change after Jayz made that statement on the stage? Because we all know that the Grammy is a space created for the palm-colored people. They cater so much for their own people, but you know, they know that Black people are always going to be the standard. How by your own metrics, we saw on Artwork, they have been recognized 38 times, but you still don't see them deemed worthy enough to receive Album of the Year. That was the part that literally did it for me. Like, by your own metrics, like really 38 freaking Grammys, and they still do not deserve to win Album of the Year. How do they calculate this thing? How is she recognized in all of these spaces 38 times? And even the person who has received the most Grammy award but still haven't received top one, the most anticipated one. And we talked about how Taylor Swift was, you know, literally receiving the fourth one and even snatching it away from Celine Dion yesterday without looking her in the eye or even acknowledging that Celine was on that stage. The fact that no Black person has won Album of the Year since 1999 is like a subtle shade to Black people. Like, you guys haven't done anything deemed worthy enough to crown any of you guys that award. And I think this is where the hunger, this is where the response is coming from, especially from Black people. And people are like, you guys should stop going to this award that is literally curated for these palm-colored people and be expecting more. Like, you reduce the expectation even if you want to go, because it's basically not a space for the colored people, because they have shown countless times how they will run Black people over and over again to give the award to, you know, their own people. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section about Jayz's speech. I absolutely love it. There is nothing disrespectful in saying that there are some of you who don't deserve to be in that category or something like that. I don't think there's anything disrespectful in the speech, because it literally made countless example of why the matrix is not making sense. How are they calculating this thing? How come they are just, you know, snubbing people of the award that they truly deserve? So when is another Black person going to ever win Album of the Year after 25 good years? Their angers are valid, let's be freaking honest, but there are some people saying, stop going there, stop supporting them. It's not a space created for the people of color. Why are people still screaming? Why are people collaborating with them when it's not a space that was created for you people, but you're expecting more? Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you all so much for joining. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe before you go and turn your bell notification on, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, and I love you guys.